For listeners meeting you the first time, what do you actually do when you say you work with authority decision layer? I love that.
Well, yeah, and I the key word really there is decision layer because it is so much about the decisions we make about our identity way before we put pen to paper, way before we buy ads or hire a marketing team or a publicist. So there's this kind of internal, external work that has to happen in order for us to make sure that at first contact, as soon as people see us in whatever place we're positioned, so let's say I work with an executive, a senior executive, they're at board meetings, they're on email, they're at conferences, they speak, they write, they publish. This is like 7 different places that they could conceivably put different parts of their personality, and a corporate infrastructure isn't going to account for the nuance of who a person is. They're just going to say you can't talk about this or don't use this word or use these word or use these colors and this font. And what I've developed over the last several years is a kind of brand voice guide that really tailors to the person's category of one, for lack of a better word, because ultimately that's what each of us is. We're a category of one, but we can't do it we can't do it if we're trying to fix it downstream in a conversation with someone, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, you talk about that working with leaders at the moment of their amplification. What does that turning point usually look like in real life? Like, what should we be reflecting on in ourselves? Like, oh, are we going to blow up in 2 seconds? Like, what does that look like?
Well, that's funny that you say that because in a way, I mean, the good news is that this is often something that is more easily fixed than people realize, but it happens. It's visible because something is wrong. So, in other words, um, by and large, a client will come to me because there's a problem. Let's say that their calls with prospects or prospective partners or investors or whatever it might be are not going well. Something stalls. They're getting acknowledgement, nodding, good rapport, next steps, but things just kind of drag. They don't close. They don't happen. Something doesn't happen, or the repetition is starting to be visible to them. I realize every time I get on the phone with somebody, they ask me the same question, and I go over this, what I call this explanation tax of like explaining what I do, who I am, why I exist. And we get good at it is the problem. I'll talk to so many people. They're like, yeah, I always have to spend about 5, 7 minutes of, clarifying what I do and who I am, but I'm used to it as it comes with the territory. No, it doesn't.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah. So note if that's your MO. Yeah.
Yeah, if you and people will say, "Oh, what kind of client should I be on the lookout for you?" And I say, "Well, if you know of someone who you really respect and you think they're super smart and they're really great at what they do and their clients or their audience are really really happy, but you just can't explain exactly what it is that they do, that might be someone who could benefit from working with me because that is a successful person's problem. We compensate for these things, so we're successful, but we're still not as successful or as happy as we could be.